Welcome to Who Put This On, Season 7, Episode 31, where we watch Space Cadets from 2005. And you can see how cold it is right down to my cold breath. I'm Chris Lorenz.
My mom says I should hook up with one of Fergie's kids. What can I say? I don't like redheads. This is Noah Singer.
This is Maxtronaut.
If this is your first time listening, those are all references to the show we watched this week, Space Cadets, Season 1, Episode 1. And last week, we watched Jury Duty, and we put up a poll on Twitter where you guys could vote if you thought it was a top, middle, or bottom third show. And we got unanimous top third, all top third votes.
Oh.
So you guys really like Jury Duty?
People love that Jury Duty.
Everyone loves Jury Duty. But Noah, tell us more about the show we watched.
Space Cadets is a British television program made by Zeppotron for Channel 4. Presented by Johnny Vaughan, it was aired across 10 consecutive nights beginning on... This is the worst show description on Google. Sorry, it just gave me nothing about the show. It is like production notes. I got to find a better show description.
Okay, well, fine. We'll make up one. So,
yeah.
It's really just...
I got it. I got it. IMDb saved me. I was too reliant on Google. So a group of starry-eyed applicants are auditioned to undergo intensive training in Russia before being flown 100 kilometers up into near space. Here, they'll spend up to 5 days orbiting the Earth, conducting experiments, quite literally watching the world go by. Or will they? Unbeknown to them, they won't be in space at all. They won't even be in Russia. They'll actually be in a disused military base at a secret location somewhere in the UK. Possibly the most audacious, complicated, and ambitious practical joke in television history.
Thank you, Noah. So all these people think they're on a reality show, and they find out it's going to space, but they're really not going to space. Which is like the theme of the show, but like this episode was the behind the scenes of how they got picked and what they had to go through to get picked to be on the show, and what the production crew did to make them believe that they were gonna be on the show. So it's like, it's almost at this point like a pre-season show that you would see nowadays versus like a true episode one.
It is all setup. It is entertaining setup, but we did not really see the true show doing its thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's way better. The only other show I know that does this is Married at First Sight. They have a episode 0, which is like how them picking contestants and like talking to like the professionals or whatever. And this is way better than that. But it also isn't quite necessarily the most indicative of what's going to happen, I think, throughout this show. Or maybe not. I don't know. We can talk about it.
Yep.
So they start out the show with our host, Johnny Vagan is his name.
Is it Vagan or Vaughn?
It's definitely Vaughn.
It says Vagan.
Vaughan.
I think it's Ian, isn't it?
No, A-N.
I'm
pretty sure it's Vaughn.
That's not how Vince Vaughn spells his name. There's an extra A in there. I don't know. I'm not British. Leave me alone.
Anyway, so we got Johnny Vaughan. He seems to be like a somewhat known person in the English media scene.
Oh, it must have a different person on IMDb.
Quick update. My cousin's married to somebody whose last name is Vaughn, and she spells it with an A-N. So,
Ooh.
Confirmed, Vaughn.
Confirmed. 100%. Yes, I'll give you that it's Vaughn. I never,
Sure. Anyway,
Yeah, so we get him come in, and then we get to see a bunch of videos of people applying to the show, which we don't usually ever see. And this was kind of interesting
It was.
because we got to see his like shirtless cowboy guy. We got to see people making ridiculous comments like what Noah's quip was, which is like, I don't like redheads.
Yeah,
And
there
like,
are some good ones throughout that.
yeah, for sure.
And there was a guy who was a lord, who actually that's where that quote
He
came
was a
from.
seventh or something. I'm like,
Oh yeah,
that's
John Edwin Sidney Harold the Seventh or some shit.
it was pretty good.
and that wasn't even the first cut. It was like first they put like a very generic like, "Do you want to be on TV?" ad, and then they said we invited the top 100 to mumble, and they show what all the mumbling is about.
Oh, mumble
To
pre Bumble mumble.
yeah.
Yeah. So Johnny Vaughn seems to be like a panel celebrity, and like he's all on all these panel shows right now.
Yeah.
He's also a big radio host. I think after this, he's had a radio show since 2015. Might
He's
be a
kind
podcast.
of like the British Ryan Seacrest.
Some sort of Ryan Seacrest character.
Very much so. Yeah.
Yeah, he was also in Deuce Bigelow, European Gigolo.
Ooh, wow, that's a good credit.
So, do you think this is his apex?
No.
Maybe. We don't know enough.
Yeah, it's tough with his British stuff to know exactly. Anyway, yeah. So we see all these people, and then we go to he comes back and tells us, oh, now we have to like go through the details of how we're making a Russian like space training facility in the middle of England.
So
Ipswich.
The producers do go to Russia. They gather a bunch of space shit and stickers and stuff that seems like it could be from Russia because it is from Russia. And I'm like, it's cool you guys are going through this. I don't really need all this detail, but sure.
Yeah, this is where I think the show really falls down on itself. Is like, okay, we get it. You know, you're making like they go into excruciating detail of like, oh, we found the airport or this like abandoned like our Navy or base or Air Force base or whatever, and we're gonna, have our spaceship simulator in this like warehouse, and they're gonna come through here, and this is where they're gonna sleep, and this is where they're gonna play, and they like we can learn all of that as you do those things. Like we don't need like a pre-show of all this, I would say. But it does really put emphasis on, I would say, the tough production and like how hard they've tried to pull this off.
Yeah.
Which we wouldn't necessarily have gotten, but it would be more entertaining, I think, if they didn't.
It's definitely it's nice to go so far back in time, right? We're going back almost 20 years, and like there's so much scene setting that has to get done, I think, for reality TV then, because everyone doesn't know, okay, it's this type of show, it's that type of show, and I understand what's coming out.
Yeah, they have came back from break, explain what's going on kind of situations. There's a lot of that. Max?
Nothing.
Nothing? Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, that's quite all right.
Yeah, and to Max's point, he said that they like literally went to Russia to like get like bars of soap and stuff to have stuff from like in Russian to try to convince these people that they're in Russia.
I mean, you kind of have to do that, right? Like, you at least need to have Russian labeled.
Yeah, I'm sure it might have been quicker for these people to go and do this than like get a bunch of stuff shipped, or just make some fake labels. Like that's probably cheaper.
but then you risk like someone understanding certain words in Russian. Like I think
These
you
guys don't
gotta.
strike me as
You weed
understanding
out all
certain.
the people that know Russian. Come on.
Yeah, yeah, no. I mean, the people that they end up choosing through their battery of tests, um, these seem like folks that have ample time on their hands, and you know they might not have gotten guidance counselor advice to go be a scientist.
You think so? I mean, we could go over all the people. I have them. They're all on Wikipedia. We can go
Yeah,
over
yeah, yeah.
them.
Yep.
But like they were chosen because like they were looking for specifically like gullible people.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
not just like people. Just like they're not picking just random people. They're like putting them through some tests,
But
which
it's
we
not
can
even
talk about.
gullible. They use a very specific word, suggestible. And they do this psychological test where they show different colored dots on a card, and the dots have no meaning. They're just purely random,
Well,
and they look for what they think are the patterns in the dots.
so like you guys have done this for like getting your eyes checked, right? It's making sure you're not colorblind.
Um,
Yeah,
that and
it's a
yeah,
very like definitely if you're a man, they usually show you this 'cause you're more likely to be colorblind. But
Hmm.
as a kid, for sure, haven't done it in a while.
No,
I mean, I don't think colorblindness is a thing you develop.
no.
I mean, if you have a disease or something, maybe.
Yeah. I knew I was chemistry partners with a kid who discovered he was colorblind by doing a chemistry experiment in 7th grade.
Okay, so yeah, that's crazy. Sorry, I finally found what I was looking for. So they're looking for susceptible people, people who are intelligent, have a creative mind, like practical jokes, and want to go along with people.
Not susceptible, suggestible.
I'm just telling you what Wikipedia has written
Ah,
down. So
okay.
we could blame the editors of Wikipedia.
But yes, they want to find people who, you know, somebody suggests something and they're like, oh yeah, I'll go along with that. And they have a couple fun ways to test this out on people. So yeah, there's this, the colored dots thing we were talking about.
It's kind of like a Rorschach test where they were like,
Yeah.
what do you see in this? Which I thought was kind of weird that they're like, oh, if they see something detailed in these dots, that means they're more suggestible. Susceptible. I wrote susceptible down, so I'm going to use it. And then, like they say, they were like kind of creative and susceptible. Ugh, can't say that. And then they did a jar test, which I thought was kind of fun.
That one was much better, I thought.
Because they have like, so they had like a jar where you could guess what was in it. So like how many of a thing was in it. So
like M&Ms or something.
Yeah. So you see these a lot at like festivals and stuff or whatever. But in this one, there was just rubber eyeballs and they had to guess how many were in it, like out loud at first. Then they had to write it down on like a whiteboard. But on the whiteboard were a bunch of other values written down and they were like pretty high. So they're trying to see if you could get it, to see if you would raise your initial vote, your initial guess by this whiteboard, which would make you more susceptible to like going along with other people and like second guessing yourself.
No, back me up here. It's suggestible, not susceptible, right?
That is the word they used in the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, do I think they're interchangeable? To a certain degree. So I think it's fine for what's happening here, but they were very specific saying suggestible.
Okay. Yeah. So you see these people like say 70 and then on the board somebody wrote like 550 and they were trying to see if you would write like 400 or change your vote significantly.
It would be like the vast majority of people on the board wrote these large numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a cool experiment. I do.
This
like
was a good one.
I do like how one of the contestants, they're like, do not touch the bowl. Do not touch the eyes inside. She just goes directly to touch the bowl, directly to touch the eyes. And she looks at like the guy like administering the contest. And she's like, I don't get it. What do you mean? I'm not supposed to touch it? What?
Yeah. So those were like the psychological tests that they showed us. Then they showed us some like claustrophobia tests where they had to
Mm.
like they were in a sleeping bag blindfolded for 20 minutes, which sounded like a great nap to me. Like that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But then they had another test where there was a lift test, aka an elevator, where they were stuck in an elevator with four people for 20 minutes.
Yeah. This actually happened to me a few years ago. On New Year's Eve, we're in like a apartment building, and we go to the roof. And like midnight strikes, so then 25 people cram in this like tiny elevator in an apartment building, and it just stops, and we're just stuck there for like I think it was about 20 to 30 minutes. It ended up being, but like,
How did you
uh,
handle it, Noah? Did you freak out?
I mean, luckily because we all had like some champagne in us, right? Like, I think it went by much easier than like if it was like midday and like let's say you're jazzed up on coffee or something like that's gonna be
Trying to
somewhat.
trying to make a meeting or something, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, I think like the worst part though was like it's 12:30 a.m. or something, right? Whatever it was. And it's like, oh my god, it's like, is anyone even working? Like, is the fire department? It's like there's like five people at the fire department going to take care of fires.
And
So,
there's like no room because there's like 20 of you in an elevator.
imagine like people trying to squeeze in, right? Because everyone went to the rooftop. So it's like, okay, we're gonna go down 2 floors. This should be easy. Yeah. Well,
Clearly not. Yeah, that sounds way more miserable than these like four people for 20 minutes. Like,
Yep. And in the show, did they know this was a test, or
no.
they don't
I
really
feel
know.
like at some point you would have to catch on, though.
I mean, you're on a reality show, so like
Yeah.
you should probably have your radar up a little bit.
Yeah.
Max,
It,
do you think you would have any trouble with these tests?
Um. I keep coming back to the dot one, but no, actually no. They were showing it, and I was like, no, there's fucking nothing. It's just noise.
yeah.
Max,
I
you
mean,
totally say some shit was in those dots. Do not
No,
fucking
no.
lie.
I was watching it, and I was like, there's nothing. There's jack shit.
I got so there was three things that I really liked. One person said it looks like a woman's reproductive system, and to be clear, because we're talking about Rorschach, these are very different than Rorschach. It is literally like random dots. There, it
But it's
very,
they said it was a similar test, but it was like not the
but
same.
the dots in my opinion, the dots really looked like just dots. Like they didn't
Yep.
even connect in any
You didn't
meaningful
see
way.
the alien?
No. I would argue they weren't random. They were like nicely distributed, all roughly the same size. So it was almost pseudo random. Like,
Yeah, that's a
yeah.
good point. Yeah, there's another one said it's a skull put on top of a lampshade, smiling with a tiny hat on it.
That's Max would definitely not say that. He'd be like, "That's a dog."
Yeah.
Dog.
That's
Dog.
that's Pakistan.
What? Oh, I was like, what does that mean? I'm like, oh, that's the country.
Yeah.
But on the elevator or lift test, like it's kind of interesting with this show that these people are just like going along for some ride. They know it's something to do with TV, but like they really are just spending their time doing these random tests, and they have no idea for what outcome. Zero clue.
Well, they're just coming on the weekend, like, oh, I could be on this cool, fun reality show, you know?
Maybe. Do you think that's it? Like, I don't know. That's what I got confused at. Is like you're spending a ton of time doing these tests.
Yeah, all these people that want to be on reality shows, it takes effort to get on them. Like, they don't just show up at your door and be like, Noah, you have twins. Would you like to be on a reality show?
Let's go.
Like, that just doesn't happen. You have to apply, it's in a video, they got to interview you.
Yep.
Like,
Mm.
it's a lot.
Interview the twins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to do these claustrophobia tests. Which, for me, if that elevator was hot, I don't know if I'd make 20 minutes. I'd be freaking out. Be on the floor, just be like crying.
Yeah,
Like it's too hot, and I get cranky, and it's just like it's not gonna work out.
it's not fun. It is not like yeah, it definitely can build on you, right? Because you have no idea.
Especially like if I had somewhere to go, that would be like I'd be losing my mind.
Oh, really?
Wouldn't be a good time.
Like if I had a flight within like 10 hours, I'd probably be freaking out. Like I'd literally be like I might break the elevator even more.
Mm. Mm. So they did the elevator one, and next was it the cliff jump?
Yep.
No,
Or the bridge
no,
jump?
no, no, no. It was dancing blindfolded with
Oh,
no
yeah.
music.
That
Yeah.
was a really short. That was barely a test. That got like 10 seconds of screen time. I feel.
Well, it's. I thought it was really weird, and I didn't understand what they were trying to test for. Is it like? Do people just stop? Like, is it like your commitment to being able to show, or like how well you dance with no music? Like,
I don't know. Maybe it's like, are you okay being embarrassed? I don't know.
That's what they said. Like they wanted to see like how uninhibited people are, and like how loose they can be, and that would be a predictor of being fit for the show.
fit. Okay, all right. Well, then they do physical training, which half the people do this bridge thing where they jump off a like 10-foot bridge into what I would call almost a creek, but it must be like a deep creek because they're getting fully submerged in this thing and the water was moving pretty quick. So I don't know. Maybe it's a river. I don't know. The bridge was 10 feet. Like this looked like hella fun. I'm like, let's do it. Let's just jump in, float down a little bit, get off, get out, go back on the bridge, jump again. But they tried to make it seem like this was super scary. Like one person was freaking out and they literally brought in the heartbeat sound, like da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. I'm like,
It's not that big of a jump. Like
no, it was nothing.
there's no way they'd be allowed to do this on television if it were actually like dangerous.
That's what I said. It's like, you're on a TV show, so like you can survive whatever they're doing here. Unless maybe you're on like Fear Factor or something. Then
Like in the meantime, we've seen, episodes of the challenge where people like hop out of helicopters and dive 20 feet and shit.
yeah, I mean, I've been on a diving board bigger, like higher than that.
Totally.
Noah, what did the other half do?
I forget. I don't remember. I like
Max, do you remember?
It was like kayaking or something.
We're so mad at this. You guys are terrible.
No,
the other half scaled down a mountain.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was so not memorable. Like,
I know that's the problem with the show. It's like you think it'd be so entertaining, but they keep showing us like these stupid details no one cares about.
Yeah, no, I definitely completely just like that went in one side and not the other. And like I actually took pretty detailed notes.
Yeah, and then this is also, I think this would be harder for me to do than the other one because like literally you got your harnessed up and you're just like rappelling down like a mountain, like a steep cliff, but it's like something I've never done, so like I think it'd be more interesting than not. And then they canoe, which was on the show for like too long, but I wrote it down. I forget if they actually do anything after they go to the campsite. I think after that, they the host comes out and says, "Oh, we went up and down like England to find their friends and family and interviewed them." And I was like, "Oh God, are we gonna get a segment of fucking friends and family interviews that they're good to go to space?" I'm like, "Oh my God!" Like I literally might have turned the show off.
But this segment was really odd. It was like, yeah, so we went and asked their friends, like, "Hey, so here's what's up. We're totally hoaxing these guys. Is it cool if we prank them?" Like, hey, these people's friends and family's permission doesn't really matter. But shit's weird, man.
Yeah, and then he just gives a thumbs up and we move on. And I was like, oh, thank God we're not getting these interviews. But that was weird.
Well, this is a really interesting detail. So this show is a surprisingly very good Wikipedia page. How long do you think this audition process, basically the first episode, actually takes place in calendar time?
Months, for sure.
Yeah.
6 months.
Actually, no, I think at the very end of the episode, he says, hey, over the last 5 months, we've been testing you guys.
Oh, did he say that?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But like that, the tests weren't over yet, or was that? Is that when they were announcing who they were? I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Yep.
The end scene is when he's standing in front of the
plane,
the
plane,
jet
right?
plane.
Yeah, he's like, "You guys are the first English reality TV show contestants."
Yeah, there's a lot of adjectives and qualifiers in there for him to get them hyped up. It's like, you are the first British televised space tourists. And I'm like, sure, okay.
But when that happens, people are hyped.
Oh yeah,
very hyped. Oh yeah.
How hyped would you be, Noah? If like Mark comes into your office, is like, okay, I've chosen you as one of my 300 employees that are going to go to space.
Yeah,
for like tourism.
Let's go. Instagram on the moon.
Would you would go to the moon?
I mean,
like if it was like, if you would go to the moon, would you go to Mars?
No, because that takes way too long.
But you would go to the moon.
I think they could do the
moon's there and back easy. That's like a month.
I don't think I could do the moon. It's just like there's so much that could go wrong. Like I
wouldn't do it.
But you just said you would.
No, I'm saying time wise, I would.
No one's talking about time. I'm saying, Max, if Jeff B comes out of like the closet there and is like, hey, come with me, we're gonna go to the moon, would you go?
Now, no. I would say like if there's like 100 successful space tourism launches in a row, then I'd be like, okay, I feel a little bit better about that.
I think there's like a step first. So it's just like getting into space. Like to me, that's like a few hours, right? They've kind of said like you kind of go up, you get like to the initial.
Well, there's the Jeff Bezos version, which is like a couple hours. Then that like SpaceX, you went up for like a couple days. You were like 3 days.
Yeah, I mean the ability to look at the planet sounds very appealing to me. Like, so that's why it's like if the option to do that required going to the moon, I mean, I don't really know what that fully entails, but I would definitely say like, let me learn more rather than like reject it on its face.
I mean, I like space. You got me 100%, but like the moon's just too excessive. Like, I don't think I'd go. I don't want to go to the moon.
Too much.
It's just there's just too much risk. I don't need that.
Is there like people go to the moon? I mean, I guess it's not.
No one's been to the moon since 1974. There's been like 10 people on the moon.
Don't they still like do like the International Space Station? That's got to be close.
That's
by.
not on the moon.
It's on the moon.
Max, could you move your mic a little bit? It's a little too close to your mouth.
Mean, I wonder how much more difficult it is to get the International Space Station versus the moon.
Dude, the International Space Station, you get to, it's like almost falling into the earth if it didn't get pushed out with like fuel, with like fuel. Like they literally push it out so it doesn't fall into the earth. You're nowhere close to the moon.
I don't think it's constantly burning fuel, is it?
Not constantly.
Stable.
No, it's not. It's not constant, but it is falling.
Yeah. Okay.
Just saying, like that's how close you are. Is there's still some drag from Earth? It's like the moon so far.
Interesting. Yeah, I thought like once you get to space, you kind of just like you do like gas, right?
Wow.
Yeah, it's not Star Wars. You
Uh,
could just
it requires 7,000 kilograms of propellant each year for altitude maintenance. That's
there you
cool.
go. All right. I watched a little bit of episode 2, and I'm going to be honest, the show doesn't really get much better. So you think it'd be really exciting because they get on this plane, like we end episode 1 and then they get on this plane, and then they like go fly, and then they make like a huge deal because they have like one Russian guard, and he like looks at their passports when they like land, and like they get on a helicopter, then they get on a bus, and each time like they're making a big deal, that they're making a big theatrics about like fooling these people, and then like they're like get on this bus to get into this thing, and like they've all these Russian, they got a freaking tank, like they have a tank and like missiles, and like everyone is like so, I mean, they're crazy excited about this whole situation.
Totally.
But like that's a whole half hour of the shows or more. I don't know how much episode 2 we got to.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a different style of filmmaking, right? When there's like no concept of streaming, and you have a fairly captive audience still, right? Like you definitely take to the camera in a very different way.
I mean, this is 10 episodes stretched. Like this show is 10 episodes and it should be like 5.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, different times, right? Like
I mean, it's kind of interesting that they filmed it, like they aired it in 10 days or something. So it was like they start on the 7th and it's done by the 15th or whatever.
Well, that's cool. I like that, to get like maximize the conversation, right? Get everyone.
It's a moments.
TV event, yeah.
Yeah, the US doesn't really do that often. It's like I see that happening in British television a lot, and like
Really?
Japanese television. Yeah,
Hmm.
like the like Ninja Warrior show is based on a one night event in Japan. Like it's like a 4-hour event.
Oh, that's cool.
Stretched into like 20 episodes or whatever they do now.
Wild.
You know? So, and like we watched one British show, like Hunted or something, celebrity hunting. I don't remember.
You've done a lot of shows.
Oh no, the Japanese show where it was like where they were getting hunted. I forget what it was called.
Where they were. Oh yeah.
That's
the recent one that it's in a fake Netherlands.
Yeah, that's like done in like a series of nights. It's not like or it's like a one night thing. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know.
I got one thing. So Astrid is a contestant on the show, and her job. So they go over all the jobs these people have. Spoiler: a lot of them are students. But Astrid is a telephonist. A telephonist. What do you think a telephonist is?
It says a call center worker on Wikipedia.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, that is the answer. But when I saw a telephonist, I had to go look it up because I'm like, I don't know what that means. Like,
okay, we got 2 students. We got a housing association assistant. We got a plasterer, a college administrator, a recruiter, an electrician, a teacher, and a call center person.
Okay.
And we got 3 actors: Charlie, Rainey, and Steve.
I guess we haven't really discussed the actors that much.
Yeah, so there's 3 actors that are like getting these people to like play along, which seems pretty necessary, but also the most unethical people on the show.
Sure, but I think
it's fine.
Totally fine.
I mean, I have a problem. Like, if you've listened to the show, like, I have a problem with all this lying that everyone is doing, and like tricking these people for like us to make fun of, like, laugh at how much you're tricking these people and how fooled they are. Like, that's not fun. That's not funny.
Are we laughing at them though? I don't really think I'm laughing at them.
But then, like, you're getting enjoyment out of it.
I'm getting enjoyment out of it, but I wouldn't say I'm laughing at them. I think it's more of like watching
Well,
the producers, like how elaborate can they set the scene, rather than like saying, "Oh my god, they're such an idiot." It's more of like, "Oh, that's really clever."
I
Like,
mean, like the show seems to be balanced. Like the show's entertainment is, can we fool these people? And
it
you're
is.
watching them be fooled, which the like fool, that's like,
Yeah,
right.
I know what you're saying. I didn't feel like I was laughing at these people. I felt like I was watching them compete in like different challenges. Like some of them were like silly, but yeah, I didn't think I was making like, oh my god, that person's an idiot. That's not how I felt.
I mean, that's how it feels to me.
I feel like future episodes, I'll definitely be laughing at them, but currently, not yet.
Yeah, I mean, like this whole show to me feels like I'm obviously not laughing at them. I feel bad for them because they're being fooled, and the show is all about them being fooled. Like that's
Yep.
the show,
Yep.
and that doesn't seem like that's I don't need that. Like I don't need you fooling these people for my entertainment. Is where ethic, like we're weirdly 2023 ethics right now. It's like how you can't have like practical, like I just don't enjoy practical jokes where people aren't in on it.
I see.
Like,
See. Yeah.
unless the producers are like, look at these three actors and look at like make fun of them like during like this show or something. Like I think the Joe Schmo show is like super unethical, and like the Joe Millionaire is even like all these shows do that similar concept,
So, have you seen any episodes of Nathan for You?
I've seen a couple, yeah.
So I'm assuming you're not you're not down with
I
his.
I did not really enjoy. Like he's doing it as a humorous thing. He's not like hot like he is.
It's.
But you enjoyed the rehearsal, right?
The rehearsal. I mean, a lot of the people signed up for to be
that's
on
fair.
rehearsal. It's not like I'm just saying like there's 10 episodes of television here where like not short episodes of television where the show is look at us fool these people.
Yeah, I don't. Yes, they are fooling them. That doesn't mean we're laughing at them.
That's 100% okay. Like no one says that we're laughing at them, but like it is making like these people look like a fool.
Agree to disagree. Yeah.
I mean, the show is definitely trying to probably make a point of like, look at all the stuff we've done. Like they're not fools. We've done all the stuff to make them believe it.
Chris, it's 2023. Nobody cares about ethics anymore.
No. Yeah, ethics is not in vogue.
All right. Should we get to? Oh, one more thing before we get to questions is the production company of the show was Zeppotron, which does 8 out of 10 cats, and Would I Lie to You, and a couple other British panel shows. So,
it's a great name. What a great name,
Zeppotron.
Yeah,
Zeppotron.
It is.
You know what's not a great name? 8 out of 10 cats.
Yeah.
Terrible name.
I still don't. I've never watched an episode. I just know people from Taskmaster on it. I have no idea what that show is.
And
Jimmy Carr.
I feel like, is it a reference to some idiom I don't know? Some Britishism? I genuinely... What the hell is that?
I don't know. It's a good question. I'm out.
It's weird. I'm on the 8 out of 10 cats Twitter handle page. And it's weird. It's like, it says 8 out of 10 cats and Cats Countdown.
Yeah, that's the full name of the show.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Is it a merger between two shows?
That had to do with cats?
I don't know. Let's move on. You can continue looking up, get it to us later. We're going to do Max's thing.
What's my thing?
I don't know. You were like,
who's the worst person on the show?
I already said the actors, but it could be the host. I don't know. I don't know how much involved the host was.
I think it's Chris for being a hater. All in favor, say aye.
I mean, I'm a hater for sure. I'm a hater. Don't. No one's denying that.
Would the show be better if everybody was kids?
I literally almost said, what if it was this, instead of 10 people to space, it's like 10 kids to Santa's workshop? Like, what if that was the show?
I feel like kids aren't that dumb.
Well, but you're still watching to see if I can fool them to think they're at the North Pole.
Maybe.
We know what Chris's first greenlit show is going to be.
Noah, give me some meetings.
Put them in the shows. Actually, so the guy, I don't think is the worst human being, but I just didn't like him, was the fake Russian soldier who talks to these people. I don't know him. He's probably a fine guy. He's probably just
he's an actor. You can't base an act like he's acting like a Russian guy. Although I agree with you, it's still unethical for him to play a Russian. I want to know
20 years ago.
What the thought process is here is okay, I'm an actor. I got a gig. The gig is I'm playing a Russian army guy, and I'm getting 10, 12 people and telling them they're in Russia, but they're not in Russia. They're on this weird reality show. It's that call's got to be nuts.
He didn't even have a good accent. That's why I think he's the worst person. But yeah, he can tweet at us.
I would still argue for the actors because they are actively involved and lying to all these people moment to moment.
I have a new question this week, which is, should we start doing episode 2s?
Look, if we were sitting here together watching the show, which I would love to do, which we can't do anymore, I would have encouraged us probably to skip this episode. But since I didn't watch it first, I couldn't say, hey, watch episode 2. There's definitely some times when I would say, hey, let's watch episode 2. And this would be one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, we got to do some more homework, right?
I tried Googling episodes. There's no episode details anywhere. If you want to know what happens in episode 1 of the show, the only way is to listen to our podcast or watch the actual episode.
Yeah.
There's no recaps anywhere.
Yeah, it's too old. Too old.
We already talked about the host. Would this show be better as a Quibi or TikTok? I would probably go with no.
Yeah, considering they didn't have touch screens back then.
Would this have been good as a web show or?
What was that? Juiced. It would have been a juiced show.
Would this be better as a real player stream?
It could be. I could see it being better as a movie. I think there's there's a tight 90 going on in this.
I can see that. Yeah, that's a good point.
We don't have that as a normal question though.
Mm-hmm.
Drinking rules. And every time the host comes in and says, "This is how we're fooling them," drink. Noah. That's not literally fooling them. It's this is what we're gonna do, and it's essentially just fooling them.
Every time they use an unnecessary superlative or adjective, take a little sip.
I'm trying to kill people here, Noah.
That's why you take a little sip.
Max.
Every time you want to go to space, take a sip of some 0G orange juice. What's that stuff called? You know the one. Tang. Get some Tang.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
Good luck finding Tang.
Really? You can buy Tang?
I'm sure you can
Maybe a
find that.
grocery store. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. I good drinking rules. Anytime they like celebrate together, like they're like anyone like a group of people win a challenge or they're
Mhm.
celebrating, take a
Yeah,
drink because I think
that's
that'll
cool.
happen a lot.
Anytime you see that Tang is for sale at Target, Walmart, and Amazon right now, drink some more Tang because it's widely available.
Hmm.
Um, when quick tangent. When do you think there'll be a Tang hard seltzer?
There's some weird hard seltzers out there right now. I mean, I saw White Claw vodka advertised the other day.
Yeah,
I
they've
saw
been
that
pushing
too.
that. Yeah,
I tasted the peach White Claw. It's no good.
no, good. I'm still waiting for the Sunny D hard seltzer to get to the Walmart near me.
What about Peeps flavored Pepsi hard seltzer?
You know what's so disappointing to go down this tangent. So we got a Walmart Plus the other day, like they're having a big sale. So I'm like, okay, great. Um, and I'm stoked because I'm like, okay, you know what? I want to try all these different flavors of Coke because Coke's now doing all these like special ones. There's another one out now. I want to get the Pepsi Peep, but like they won't sell you the 20-ounce bottles in Walmart Plus.
Mm.
So you have to get like a 12 pack of the Pepsi Peep. And I'm like, I don't want a 12 pack of Pepsi Peeps.
What do you mean by Walmart
Yeah,
Plus?
what originals do they have on Walmart Plus
Like, what the
Video?
fuck is a Walmart Plus?
So it's a Amazon Prime competitor. So in this instance, it was on sale. So it was $60 for the year, and you get free delivery from the store, and there's no order minimum, which is pretty good. Um, and so I was like, okay, that works out well.
But does it have great quality content like
Funny
on
enough, if you
Amazon
buy
Prime?
Walmart Plus, you get the basic tier package of Paramount Plus included in your Walmart Plus subscription.
I
But
love all the great programming on Paramount Plus.
With Walmart Plus,
well, so I buy Paramount Plus like Elite Edition, whatever. Um, I don't know
the
what it's
elite.
called.
Sorry, hold up. Why?
So two reasons. One, they're doing a bundle where basically you end up paying for Showtime a dollar per month if you buy Showtime and Paramount Plus.
Okay.
On Showtime, I do like the show Your Honor. I was getting In and Out of Billions, and then on Paramount Plus, the real big reason to have it is for the NFL.
Okay.
You get the games on it, and then I do like 60 Minutes.
What about Survivor?
I don't watch
Star
that.
Trek.
No, I haven't watched it either. There was a really good limited series about like the making of The Godfather. Um, I forgot the name of it. That was pretty solid. And I think maybe in 10 years I'll watch Yellowstone. People
You
seem
can
to
watch
like
some
it.
Jersey Shore.
Yeah, the back catalog is very big on it. The originals are yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's get back to this. We got like two more questions that we can go on any tangents you want. What do you love about this show?
I
What
like
I
I
go
like the
ahead, Max.
premise. Premise is good.
Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know. That doesn't like. It's not a rousing endorsement there.
I'm trying my best, okay? That's why I had to go up front because otherwise one of you two would steal that.
No,
um, I like the amount of effort put in to make this a good ruse. Right, like they definitely aren't calling it in. They are going the full 8 out of 10 cats to get this right.
okay. I don't understand how that's the full, but whatever. Uh, I love. I think the like energy of the contestants on the show is really high. Like people are like really stoked. They're like really enjoying doing these things, which I think makes it easier to swallow that they're being making a fool of in a sense on the show.
Mhm.
Um, and then we do a rating system. We do top, middle, bottom, third. Mr. Noah Singer, what do you got for me?
Um, I kind of enjoyed the show. It was very deceiving because Chris sent out the link to go watch a show a week ago, right when we do our last show, and the thumbnail, I was like, "What is this show?" It's a very deceiving thumbnail, um, and so it's kind of set the bar low. Um, as we talked about, it's a bit overly detailed, but at times that was pleasant. At times, and it was like, okay, kind of had enough. Um, I generally liked it. I think because it's so difficult to watch due to like all this like 5 episodes on YouTube mixed quality. I don't think I'll watch more. But I enjoyed it, so I'm putting it in the middle, top of the middle.
Max, what do you got for me?
You know, great premise. I didn't hate it. Middle third, bottom of the middle. I didn't love it, but it deserves better than bottom third.
Let's see. Can't decide. I think it is kind of a middle third show. I think it was kind of interesting, but like you gotta have that fast forward button. So I don't know. I'm gonna put it in the bottom because I think it's really boring. It's mean. I'm over it.
Yeah.
Kill it. Send it to space.
So you can vote for what you thought in our poll on Twitter at Who Put This On. And as for next week, we haven't really decided. The end of parody month is coming.
Yep.
So it's either going to be My Big Fat Obnoxious Fiance or Nathan For You. And we don't know what we would watch season 1, episode 1 of My Big Fat Obnoxious Fiance. But Noah, what episode of Nathan For You should we watch?
So the most famous episode is going to be the dumb Starbucks. I think that's where it gets the most acclaim. I think probably the most clever episode is probably the Summit Ice.
Summit Ice is good.
Yeah.
Gas station is good.
Gas station's very good.
Okay. So I'm going to call it, if we do that, we're going to do the Summit Ice episode.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure I saw the Dumb Starbucks episode, and I don't think I've seen the Summit Ice episode.
And I think you might like that one because it's people are not as open to being the fool as you harped on here, but it's also might be a bit trickier to discuss for you.
I mean, we could talk about it more offline. You could tweet at us. Tell us what episode you think we should watch. Maybe we'll watch that. I don't know. But tune in next time to figure out what we actually watch. And we did some shout outs already. Max, do you have any shout outs?
For some reason I started rewatching Fleabag. What a great show.
Really?
Never watched it.
Yeah. It's on Amazon, right?
Yeah, I have always really enjoyed it. The first 2 episodes can be a little slow, but it picks up.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I never.
It's only 12 episodes total.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just 2 seasons of 6.
Huh? Are they making a season 3?
No.
Is this how Phoebe Waller-Bridge got famous?
She had a show before this, but this is why she gets paid out the wazoo now.
Oh, interesting. Okay, because like I know I've seen her name, but then like I'm like I don't really know what she's been in.
But yeah, this is what put her on the map, I'd say.
Got it. Yeah, there's a lot of like new celebrities, and I'm like I don't know why you're famous.
New celebrities, you got to keep up, Noah.
Yeah,
you got to get that People magazine.
People need to inform me of this.
I'm telling you right now.
I watched the end of Mandalorian season 3. Not really super memorable.
Haven't seen the end. Don't spoil it. Not that I really care that much.
Yeah.
This season's been very up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Noah Singer, what do you got for me?
Have you guys watched The Last of Us?
Yeah.
Yep.
because Pedro Pascal's and everything.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, Pedro Pascal accompanying a young child.
Yeah. That is every TV show is going to be Pedro Pascal accompanying a child. Yeah, we just finished it last night. I really want to have a conversation. Could we just say like spoiler alert for like
this is the end. Follow us on Twitter. I put this on the spoilers for The Last of Us season 1 going forward.
Okay, so Joel, Pedro Pascal, he's a bad guy, right?
Yeah.
Like I think that's how you have to take it.
Nobody can be boiled down to just one or the other, but
I think the show is pointing out that, like, you can be good, you can be bad. Different scenarios, will force you. This world post-apocalypse forces you to be both, or there's always somebody shitter than you. There's somebody better than you. Like, it's not like good or bad. I don't think.
I mean, so you have like the whole anti-hero thing, right? And to me, like Walter White or Tony Soprano always stands out as like the archetype of what like everything else came to be for the anti-hero.
Sure.
And I feel like at the end, you're like they were just painted as not good people. And I feel like it ended here too, where like Joel had the choice to potentially save the world, literally, right? And he's like, "Nah, I'm gonna be selfish."
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like, I think there are two readings of this ending, and you're taking the Joel is like a bad guy, and I would probably go down that route. But then there's also the other reading is that, oh, how could you kill Ellie without telling her or giving her the choice, or like, how do you know this is going to work? Kind of reading, which I saw a lot when it ended.
Yeah.
Which I personally, I'm like, oh, I mean, I guess, but
I would argue that given the choice, she'd probably be like, yeah, go ahead with it.
But yeah, she definitely.
Yeah, you could argue that point, but you also could just like have actually asked her,
Mm-hmm. Did you guys play the game?
I did.
I played the first third of it.
In the game, do you change your character points of view? Like, how does that actually end up?
Episode 1, you mostly play as Joel with some sections as you play as Ellie, and then the second game, which was a slight spoiler, so you mostly play as Ellie in the second season, second game.
Is there a closure like at the end, like, or like, does Ellie have a choice in the game to be like, yes, I will commit myself? And
you'll have to watch, find out.
Oh wait, there's gonna be a second season? Like,
yeah,
there's a second game. There will be, I think, minimum 3 seasons
of the show.
I didn't know that.
But okay. I think Noah's question is, do you, when you're playing the game, can you make Joel decide differently? Is that correct?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Which would have been interesting. You can't really adapt a game that has multiple endings. I mean, you could, but...
And is the game more of like a first-person shooter?
It's a third-person shooter.
Third-person action adventure kind of game.
Yeah.
With horror elements. Because, like, honestly, the best part about the game was trying to deal with the clickers and, like, fighting zombies. And anytime I was fighting humans, I'm just like, ugh, I don't want to fight the humans. Can we move on?
Because I have no current video game references, it reminds me of Resident Evil.
Yeah, there's something to that.
Yeah, it's probably the eventual merging of an action game with a Resident Evil game. Like, Resident Evil, like, action's pretty terrible, and like in action games, the action's really good. So it's like that. But Last of Us Part 1 definitely worth playing. I didn't really enjoy Part 2 that much, but all of the Uncharted games are, I would say, phenomenal. Play those.
Oh wait,
those are fun.
So this is part of a larger series called Uncharted?
No. It's just made by the same people, but instead of a post-apocalyptic zombie wasteland, it's your Indiana Jones and Indiana Jones movies, and it's really fun.
Oh, that's neat. And
Those are
so it's just a studio, a game studio.
it's a Naughty Dog makes the games. So the people that made Crash Bandicoot way back in the day.
No shit. All right.
Yeah, that's
cool.
They've made some of the best games in the last like every game that they've released has been like pretty big hit.
Damn. That's
because they released Jack and Daxter on the PS2, wow. And then they went right into Uncharted after that, and then Uncharted to Last of Us, back to Uncharted, back to Last of Us.
Naughty Dog.
I would assume they might be doing another Last of Us game. Is my assumption.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think that's it for us this week. You can find us on Twitter at whowiththesong. You can find us on facebook.com/whowiththesong. You can email us questions and suggestions at whowiththesong@gmail.com. See you next time.